All right. I sure was hoping I wasn't going to have to look at y'all again. Y'all sure look a whole lot better in their big room in there. We've got a rule substitute for Senate Bill 233. I'm going to ask the sponsor if she will give us a understanding of what that means.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a rules substitute to Senate Bill 233. It makes two changes in response to requests by members. The first change is on lines 188 to 196, and it makes it clear that the promised scholarship amount would be adjusted with QBE and will in particular reflect austerity reductions. The second, if any, if there are any, some of us were here and remember not just austerity reductions, but austerity reductions on top of austerity reductions, and it would reflect that. And then on lines 344 to 353,
Excuse me,
yes,
Madam Pro Tem. Would you keep the door and keep it closed, please, because we cannot hear.
The lowest 25% of public schools, that determination will be made not by 1 year, but by the two most recent school years for which the Office of Student Achievement issued such ratings. Those are the two changes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, are there any questions for the sponsor? Mr. Park.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Pro Tem, going to the change on 188 to 192, so does that essentially kind of clarify that the 6,500 would come out of QBE, or that it does have an impact on state funds in which a fiscal note should be helpful on this bill?
No, it does not. The 6,500 has no bearing in terms of from a budget impact on QBE, but the way it is, I did calculate that number, recalculate that number to come up with a reasonable amount that would reflect approximately somewhere between $500 and $700 less than what we spend per child currently.
So,
out of the state budget. Of course, as you may know, that students are funded in Georgia by a combination of local, federal, and state dollars.
and as for the follow-up, if I may.
One more question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this 6,500 would be the state portion of the education budget, and I think I'm just having a difficult time understanding how, if we're saying the state's going to be giving $6,500, that the $6,500 would follow, how there's no fiscal note that would examine how much this would cost.
Maybe I can clarify this conversation on fiscal note. That is a completely separate conversation, but I will say a fiscal note is required when there is a state impact on a tax bill. This is not a tax credit. That would be an appropriate request on, for example, the SSOs, Student Scholarship Organization, that program. That is a tax credit. This is not. There is zero fiscal impact if the money is not appropriated. That's why, for example, the budget that you're about to vote on this afternoon, there are many additions to that budget for which there was no fiscal note, because every year it can be changed. The difference with the tax credit or tax deduction is the only way that can be changed is for us to pass another law.
Okay, one more.
So under this bill, is it not true that this would stay, that $6,500 would stay the same as opposed to changing every year as in a budget?
There will be zero impact on the budget if this body does not appropriate it through the budget. There will be zero impact.
Thank you.
But it does clarify that should the state have go through a period where we reduce funding. Of course, as you may know, we reduce funding in higher ed, we reduce funding in QBE, but just to respond to some requests of members, the number will go down in those time periods.
Okay, are there any other questions for the sponsor? Okay, seeing none, I guess it's time to take a vote on the substitute for HB 233LC 491473S. Do I hear a move? Now to move in a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, all opposed, right hand. It passed. All right, we'll set the calendar for the next supplemental calendar for today. This morning you heard H.R. 651 by Chairman Knight as it related to the right well. Do I hear a move? Move. It's on. House Bill 133. Do I hear a move? Move. It's on. House Bill 233, substitute LC 491473S. Do I hear a move? Move. It's on. Okay, one more time. H.R. 651 under modified open. House Bill 133, sub to. Yes, excuse me, it is Senate Bill 133. Am I correct? All right, it is Senate Bill 133. I'm sorry. All these House bills done gone to bed. Okay, well, let's do 133 again. Do I hear a motion on Senate Bill 133? Move. About moving to say it's on. Okay, now we'll go back through them one more time so everybody knows what's on the supplemental calendar. H.R. 651.
Move.
It's already been cleared. Been a long day, folks. Senate Bill 133, House Bill 233, LC 491473S. Oh, okay. All right. Let's try that one more time. Okay, Senate Bill 233, LC 491473S. It's on the calendar for today. Senate Bill 133 is on the calendar for today. H.R. 651 is on the calendar for today. Let's go before I make another mistake. Meeting's adjourned.
You did good, Mr. Chairman.